Greetings everyone, and as always I hope the collecting gods are smiling on you one and all, and welcome back to the channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of none other than Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson, aka Ryan Reynolds, from the movie that might just save Marvel from a fate worse than Disney. Yep, Deadpool and Wolverine. As always, we'll take a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories that come with the potty-mouthed anti-hero, then it will be out with a merc with a mouth for a close-up look, and finally we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end, where I might just have to get a wee bit silly, but we'll get to that. But before the box, the usual shout-outs and background. Firstly, a massive thank you to all of the folk out there who subscribe to the channel. Love you. And to those of you watching who haven't taken the plunge, just throw yourself into the deep end and smash that subscribe button and bell notification icon. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to Mr. William Wang over at One Man's Hobby for securing me this early batch figure. If it's anything 1/6 scale you're after, please check out his website. There will be a link in the description below as always. Okay, so a bit of background. Regulars to my channel will know my feelings regarding the MCU. For me, it ended with Infinity War and Endgame, and watching the House of the Mouse abusing the MCU's dead corpse for the past few years has been painful in the extreme. So is Deadpool and Wolverine, the last breath escaping from the once glorious IP. Or does it herald a return to the halcyon days of the MCU? Well, yes and no. In my opinion, it's not the best Deadpool movie ever made, but it's still light years ahead of the torrent of dysentery we've had to endure recently as Disney continue their, how can I put it, their wholesale slaughter of the MCU and Star Wars and now even Doctor Who. But you never know, Mr. Reynolds as Deadpool and Mr. RDJ as Doom may yet be able to breathe life into the long deceased MCU. But that's enough of my spleen venting. Onto the box. This literally has just come straight through the door and gone straight in front of the camera. So it's virgin territory for all of us. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at the box and see what's going on here. Looks like a very good box. I'm quite impressed with this box. Looks like it's a slipcover design. What we've got on the front here is what looks like a stylized picture of Deadpool himself. Doesn't look like a shot of the figure. Really liking this. Just very, very nicely done. There's bullets going on, and it says Deadpool and Wolverine in the top right hand corner. Special edition, which means it comes with a few extra bits and pieces. It's got this sort of slash effect across the front, which I believe is meant to represent Wolverine's claws there, and there are some sort of, well, I say clear plastic, this black plastic in between these slices, which gives it a really, really sort of bold and aesthetically pleasing look. And they're continued around the side there as well. You've got bullet holes. It says Deadpool in this high gloss silver lettering on the side. Bring it around to the other side. Pretty much the same story there. More bullets, more sparks, more slash marks. What we got on the top? Just says Deadpool, 1/6 scale collectible figure. Deadpool and Wolverine on the bottom. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that the seals are still intact on this boy. And what have we got around the back? Well, it's the usual story. You've got the Deadpool symbol in the center there. You've got him doing a rather nice ballet move there, sort of hanging upside down at the top there, and all the credits and warnings on the back here. Now, I normally crack a joke here regarding warnings with these 1/6 scale figures, but I'm not going to crack that joke today, because what that warning should read is beware of brittle plastic. Now, a lot of people out there who've received this figure have had issues, shall we say, issues with joints, in particular with ankle joints, with these figures arriving with their feet literally floating around inside the box on broken ankle joints and weak wrist pegs that snap really, really easily. Apparently it's something to do with the quality of the plastic. I've got to comment on this. I mean, really, Hot Toys, come on. How long have you been doing this? You have one job to do. It's to produce 6 scale figures. Yes, you may have got this out in a hurry to try to cash in on it coinciding with the release of the film, but that's still no excuse for brittle plastic in joints. As I say, you've been doing this long enough to know how to make joints for a 1/6 scale figure, but we'll get to that, and fingers crossed his feet won't be flying around in the bottom of the box. But we'll just take the slip cover off and have a quick look. Now, just slides off, he said confidently. Now, I had this problem a few seconds ago before this take, and because of the those clear plastic sections in the slip cover, it does not want to come off sometimes, so you have to finagle it a little bit. But yeah, lift that slip cover off. What you've got is this heart design here, the broken heart design with Wolverine symbol on one side and the Deadpool on the other. Obviously the usual Hot Toys clear plastic window here with all the figure and all the bits and pieces behind it. Flip it round, you've got all kinds of stuff going on here. There's booms, and there's basically what look like children's drawings going on the side, and around the back this rather nice image of the Deadpool symbol being slashed open with the adamantium claws. Picture of Deadpool there, Deadpool 1/6 scale figure there, and a continuation of the kids' drawings on the sides as well. So there you have it, that's the box. So without further ado, let's crack those seals, dive down onto the table to have a look at all the accessories as we normally do, and let's keep our fingers crossed that all his appendages are still attached. Okay, so box open, accessories out, and touch wood, Deadpool's feet are still at the bottom of his legs where they should be. How long they remain there is anybody's guess, but yeah, they're still where they should be. It's also fair to mention at this point as well, before we jump into this massive amount of accessories, that I believe Hot Toys have offered to send out replacements, replacement foot pegs and wrist pegs as well for those who bought through official Hot Toys channels. So if you are one of those people who's unfortunate enough to have had them snap on you, then I believe that's what they're doing. They've also said that they're going to be addressing the issue prior to the second run of these figures, which is a little bit late for a lot of people, but you know, at least they're doing something. So yeah, the accessories, let's crack on because there's a hell of a lot of it. We'll start with the hands as we always do. There's a pair on the figure, a gripping pair already on the figure itself, and you've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you've got 6 pairs of hands in total, 12 hands, a lot of hands to go at here, which is in keeping with Deadpool. We've got a lot of swap out eyes as well, because really, you know, behind that mask, the only way he's going to express himself is through movement, through hand gestures, and through his eyes. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these hands. We'll grab a couple at random, and there's all manner of things going on here. You've got the OK symbol there. You've got sort of a pointing fingers. You have you've even got the pair of hands to do the heart as well, if you're wanting to do that. I can imagine a lot of people will be wanting to do that. But let's have a look at the quality of the sculpt and the paint application. It looks pretty good. Hot Toys tend not to let down with the hands, but yeah, the gloves are sculpted really, really well. You've got that texture on the fingers there, that almost rib texture. There's texturing on the palms there, really nicely done. The paint applications are spot on. The colours are absolutely spot on, as I can tell. That deep, vivid red. And across the back of the hands there, you've got that those gold highlights. Well, I mean, they're not a bright gold. They're a sort of a tarnished gold, if you will. And it looks like there's some dry brushing on there to give it some weathering. But yeah, overall, really, really nice. Let's do the flexibility test, yeah. I would say that's a medium to hard. I'm hoping that maybe some of these other gripping hands would be a little bit more forgiving. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're a little bit softer, these. But once again, all the hands have got the same high level of sculpt and paint application. And yeah, very, very well done. And as I say, a huge variety of hands there to go at. So we'll put the hands to one side, because we don't want to look at each one of those, because that will take a week and a half. So put those to one side. Get the mundane stuff out of the way. You get a set of instructions. These cover all kinds of things, from assembling the base to swapping out the eyes to attaching the harness. It's all in there if you need it. There's some interesting instructions on how to swap out some bits and pieces with Babypool there, but we'll get to that when we take a look at him. So yeah, we'll put those to one side. Let's take a look at the swords and the sheath, the back sheath here. Yeah, really nicely done this. All plastic, all sculpted plastic. There's no metal here. The paint applications are really nice, if relatively simple. It's just a black paint application with some silver dry brushing on it to give it that touch of weathering. You've got that gold stripe down the middle there. Magnet on the back here. As with previous Deadpool figures, it simply magnetizes and to his back, so no straps or anything like that required. Fair for me to say at this point as well, I own no other Deadpool figures. I know it's hard to believe. In all my years of collecting, I have never owned a Deadpool figure, so I've got nothing to compare this figure to, unfortunately. But it's always been one of those that's been on my list, and I've never quite got round to. 6-scale collectors will know what I mean when you've got that figure that you know you want in your collection, but somehow just never quite got round to it. But yeah, this case with Deadpool. So unfortunately, there'll be no comparisons in this review, but let's crack on. So yeah, obviously the swords come out, all one piece of sculpted plastic. They've given the swords that sort of a slight gold hue to them underneath the silver or over the top of the silver to sort of replicate the fact that they're adamantium, which is nice. The hilts are really nicely sculpted. There's gold detailing in there. The paint applications are nice. I would say that these are they are very thin. These swords, they are exceptionally thin, so I would be super careful with these. I mean, you can see with the slightest amount of pressure here, and that's barely any pressure at all, you're getting quite a substantial bend in these. Would have been nice to see these as metal, to be honest, but yeah, they are very delicate, so I would be super careful with those. The hilt's got the Deadpool symbol on it, if the camera's catching that, nicely painted. And the pommels, yeah. Now, for those who haven't seen the film, they probably won't know what I'm talking about here, but the pommels here have the they have the initials of the Golden Girls, and there is a reason behind that. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, apparently Deadpool is a big fan of the Golden Girls. So yeah, that's the swords. Put those to one side. While we're on the weapons, let's take a look at the Desert Eagles. You get two sets here, two pairs rather. There is the standard black ones, very nicely sculpted, very nice paint applications and detailing on there. There's some dry brushing on there to pick out the details and weathering. You've even down to the tiny little red spot there for the safety. And yeah, just very, very nicely done, very nicely sculpted. And there's a cocking action there, which if you actually open this up, and I don't know whether the cameras get that to slide all the way open. Yeah, if it'll slide, there we go, all the way open. And if the light will catch, this is actually a bullet there, which is at the top of the magazine, which is removable as well. We will try and do that on camera. It's a case of getting your fingernail underneath there. I actually took out the other one prior to this shot. Might be easier to do that one. That one's been worked. Yeah, well, trust me, they do come out. They are very, very stiff, these. I'm not wanting to come out, but did have them out off camera. But trust me, yeah, the magazine is removable, and it's got painted bullets on the inside, and you've got the Deadpool symbol on the bottom of the magazine there as well. So yeah, that's the two black Desert Eagles. We'll put those to one side, and I think this is part of this comes as part of the special edition. I don't think you get these with the standard edition. This is the gold Desert Eagle, and very nice it is too. Pretty much identical to the black one, but obviously painted gold. And it actually says "so sorry" on this. On the barrel there. I don't know whether the camera's going to catch that, but tiny lettering there, it says "so sorry," and there's even what looks like a little bit of weathering to make it look like it's been fired. And you've got that same detailing on here as well. Smile, wait for the flash. So there, yeah, just very, very nicely done. Super high gloss gold paint, very, very effective. Let's see if I can get these to open without chipping any of this black paint. Ah, yeah, that one opens slightly easier. They do all have this removable magazine, but it might take a little bit of work to get them out. But yeah, nicely painted. The magazine is gold as well. And once again, you get that cocking action if this one wants to work. This is very, very stiff. A lot of this stuff is exceptionally stiff out of the box. I'm not sure whether you actually do get a cocking action with this one. Let me try the other one. Oh yes, you do. Yeah, just it's very, very stiff, as I say. And this is the first time I've seen these accessories and work them. So yeah, probably because they're brand new out of the box, they're going to need a little bit of bedding in. So yeah, that's the Gold Desert Eagles. What else do you get? Let's take a quick look at this base before we move on. Gotta say, not impressed with this base straight off the bat. What you're looking at here is one very, very flimsy piece of plastic. It's not even got a base on here, a cover across here. I mean, it's a nice enough design, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like this this sort of rock effect here, and the paint applications are pretty good. I like this Deadpool symbol in the centre with the slashes from the Wolverine claws, and the Deadpool and Wolverine logo on the front there is really nice, but the whole thing just feels cheap. This plastic feels really low quality, and yeah, there's not even a cover to this here, or any felt feet on there to stop it from moving around in your display. From a distance, quite effective, but when you actually get up close to this, yeah, it puts me in mind of the Multiverse of Madness Scarlet Witch base, and I was very disappointed with that as well. Yeah, so yeah, a bit of a letdown there, but it is what it is. So what you get with this particular base is a dynamic flight pole, which simply screws into this section here, and probably a good juncture, actually, if we're going to look at this stand, is to take a look at head pull. Now, head pull, I must admit, I do like the sculpt on this. It's very good. The quality of the sculpting on the material here to replicate Deadpool's suit, really, really well done. This hat, the sort of hat with the blades on top, really, really well done. Paint applications are really good. Sculpt is excellent, even down to the jaw underneath, which moves. You've got some movement in there. The teeth are individually painted. I think those eyes are hilarious, and there's even some veining in there. Lovely and glassy, nicely done. I'll say it's party piece, but you've got interchangeable rotors to go on his head. You can use this one, which is a sort of clear plastic. It's a hint of black in there, or greys. But on the whole, it's pretty much clear, and you simply slot that in the top there. There's a little hole in the top of his head if that wants to go in, which it does. There we go. You can have that rotor, the rotor in motion. Not a massive fan of that look. I think it's okay, but yeah, there is a sort of illusion of motion there if you look at it from a distance. But I prefer the other one, which is this one. Which is the two stationary rotors, and yeah, you just simply slot that in the top there. Yeah, and that's head pull, and very good it is too. Reason I brought that out is because it actually works in conjunction with this flight pole, so we'll take a quick look at that. So yeah, once you've screwed your dynamic flight pole in, and this is another thing at this point, it would have been nice to see Hot Toys include a crotch grabber, to be honest with you. Now, I understand why Hot Toys will put a dynamic flight pole in here. This is, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a very dynamic figure. He's, you know, and people are going to want to be posing him in all manner of weird and wonderful ways, flying through the air and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciate why they've included this. But at the end of the day, any length of time using one of these, and I think it's that fear that a lot of us Hot Toys collectors have, that it's the nature of the material that the outfit's made out of, and even though these have foam pads on the inside, these sort of waist grabbers are not saying notorious, but any kind of pressure over a long period of time on the material that Hot Toys uses for its suits, and I think we've probably all experienced it at some point. You can stretching, bending, pressure marks, disforming, all that kind of stuff. So it would have been a nice touch to see a crotch grabber in here as well, but it is what it is. But you also get this section as well. Now this section, once you've attached the waist grabber and got Deadpool where you want him, you can actually, using the same mechanism as you would, you can attach this section as well to the dynamic flight pole. It simply, I'll try and get this on its side so you can see this, and it simply sits on the top like this. and then the section at the end, once it's been tightened here, goes into the back of Deadpool's head, like that. Now this is a coated plastic. There's wire underneath that has been coated with plastic, so you've got some give and bend in here, so you can really muck around with how you display this. So yeah, you attach it to the end of the flight pole, and then you can have Deadpool zooming around or hovering wherever you want him. So yeah, nice touch there from Hot Toys. I am liking that accessory. So we'll pop that to one side. That's Deadpool. That's the stand. The baby harness, Babypool's harness. If you're wanting to display Babypool, who we shall come to shortly, then you have the ability to do so with this harness. Very, very straightforward. You simply pop Babypool in here. There are two clips at the back here, and you fasten them around Deadpool's back, and then he has Babypool attached to him. This feels like it's made out of certain parts of it feel like a plastic, and other parts feel like more rubber-like. But overall, I mean, this piece at the front here feels more like a hard a hard plastic, whereas the straps themselves feel more like a rubber. It's that sort of thing somewhere between, if that makes sense, between plastic and rubber. So it's got a lot of give. It's flexible. The sculpt on there is quite nice. There's textures on there and detailing. Not much by the way of paint applications, or there is some dry brushing here that I can see on the bottom to give it some weathering. But overall, simple but effective. So yeah, that's Babypool's harness. Talking of Babypool, let's have a look at him. Let's bring him out. So here is the little chap himself, and I think the sculpt here is really, really good. I mean, what's not to love about a 6-scale Babypool? Yeah, but the paint applications are great. The sculpt is absolutely on point. The proportions are right, even down to his little pot belly and the belt. He does come with 2 bottles, which you can either attach to his hand like I've done there, with this tiny little peg. And I'm trying to hold this 6-scale milk bottle with my sausage fingers, and if this doesn't go flying off into the distance, to be nothing short of a miracle. But yeah, you can either have him holding them, because there are holes in the hands there, as you can see there, or you can have them in his belt, because there's space for him in his belt. There's articulation in this little chap. His legs move, his arms move to a certain extent. Not an awful lot of give in those arms, but it is there. And there's a little bit of movement, lateral movement in the head as well. We can't get this guy close up. As I mentioned at the top there when we were talking about the instructions, the only thing about this little chap that puts me about is it says in the instructions, and you do get swap out eyes with this little chap. As you can see here, there's a swap out eye. Now it tells you in the instructions, and these are pegged in. You can see those pegs on the back there, but the instructions tell you to apply some pressure at the base of the eye here and push upwards. And to me, that's never going to get that out. I'm trying to do that, as you can see on camera, and that's just not shifting. Now, I am loath to try and start digging around in there with a fingernail or a tool of some description in an effort to try and get these eyes out, because I think you're going to run the risk of actually scratching this really fine sculpt of the mask itself. So I might be leaving these eyes as they are. That's perhaps not the best solution in the world. I mean, as you can see, I'm doing exactly how the instructions tell you to do here, which is apply pressure at the bottom of the eye, and absolutely nothing's happening. But yeah, so he may very well stay with those eyes for the duration. But yeah, detailing is great on this little chap, even down to the Deadpool dummy, the Deadpool pacifier. I think that's great. So yeah, that's Babypool. We'll pop him to one side. While we're on the subject, let's have a look at Dogpool. Now this, once again, this puts a smile on my face as well. Hot Toys is not perhaps best known for their smaller 1/6 scale animals, but this is hilarious. It really is on point. Paint applications are spot on, even down to the belt there. I love what they've done underneath, but we won't go into that. The suit's great. The little sort of booties he's got on are great. There's articulation in this chap as well. The legs move. You've got some play in the front legs there. I believe the head's got some movement as well. It's on a ball joint there. Not a huge amount of movement, but if you're wanting to muck around with it, it's great. And the paint applications are great. The goggles are fantastic. That tongue is suitably wet and nicely painted. And yeah, just overall a great little piece there from Hot Toys. So yeah, that's Dogpool. We'll put Dogpool to one side. What have we got left? Oh yeah, completely forgot to mention. Probably some incredibly brittle spare wrist pegs if your wrist pegs break, so put those to one side. The knife, the boot knife, relatively straightforward, all one piece of sculpted plastic, some nice paint applications on there, but yeah, it is what it says on the tin. It's a 6-scale knife. We'll put these swap out eyepieces to one side. And finally, all you've got is the swap out eyepieces for Deadpool himself, and there's obviously a pair already on the figure, so you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 swap out eyes in total, 5 different pairs, so you can go for any kind of expression you want, and these are attached by magnets, so it's simply a case of popping these out and popping them in. But you've got everything from quite slanted eyes to or squinty eyes to these, which I really like, which are these sort of full round surprised look almost. So yeah, plenty to go out there with the swap out eyes, so you can muck about with that to your heart's content. So that's all the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out the Merc with the mouth himself. Let's get him onto this stand, onto the turntable, and have a look at what he's all about. Okay, so here he is. It's the Merc with the mouth, straight out of the box, straight onto the turntable, but not onto the stand, and there is a reason for that. I literally put him on the stand with that waist grabber for, it can't have been more than 2 minutes in between takes, and when I took him off, already there was some really, really nasty indentations starting to appear in these black side panels. And so I just immediately thought, no, I'm not using that. I may have to adapt that stand to a crotch grabber or something like that. But the waist grabber itself, the pressure is so high on that, the tension is so high on that, I would recommend avoiding it like the plague for fear of damaging your figure. But that's enough of the ridiculous waist grabber. First impressions are very, very good, I have to say. The proportions look absolutely spot on, the colours look great, the sculpt looks good, the screen accuracy is most certainly there and on point. It is one of those figures that looks like it's just going to get up and walk away at any moment. I think, yeah, first impressions are absolutely excellent, but we'll do what we always do. We will have a close-up look at this guy, and we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Let's stop him from spinning. As far as we'll start with the feet, obviously. I've not really put any accessories on here other than attaching the boot knife and putting the two guns in. We're saving the accessories for the showcase at the end, but we'll start with these boots. We've got some tread on these boots here, which is nice to see, with some silver dry brushing to make them look weathered. I am not going to attempt to move these feet particularly, and when we do the showcase at the end, please forgive the lack of dynamic poses with this figure, but I don't want to risk snapping these joints here. But yeah, the sculpt looks really nice. There's crease work in there. The paint applications on the red armor on the top of the boots are nice. There's some weathering. There's weathering on the boots with the dry brushing. You move up to these shin protectors, which are sculpted plastic. Once again, really, really nicely done. Very screen accurate. Paint applications are on point with these gold highlights. The sheath for the knife is weathered there with the gold highlights again. We'll bring it around to the back, and that same paint application and weathering and sculpt on the shin guards, the lower leg guards, is really good. Moving up to this suit. Now this suit, collectors of Hot Toys will know this material, Spider-Man, Catwoman, that kind of thing. It has its pluses and minuses with me. Sometimes it doesn't inspire me with confidence because sometimes, straight away, we'll take a look at the articulation in this leg. You've got a ratcheted joint in this leg, and it's double joint, and you've got some real range of motion in here. but as soon as you put it back to where it was, you've already got creasing starting in there, and you're having to futz it to get it back in place. It's not my favourite material, and I know it's always going to be a compromise, but it feels pretty solid. How it stands the test of time, we will, well, we'll find out. But as I say, I said at the top there, I don't own any of the Deadpool figures, so I've got nothing to compare it to, and I know some have deteriorated over time. But yeah, you've got these plastic knee guards which are actually stuck on, and they're actually slightly higher than the knee joint, which is nice to see. It looks like the knee joint's slightly lower, so I would always be worried if they were actually directly over that knee joint. They're going to push them off over time, but they're nicely sculpted and weathered again. These straps around the thigh area, which hold the holsters, are actually in place. They're not free moving. Oh, they are free moving. Call me a liar. But they're sculpted plastic as well. They don't feel, well, I think they are. Yes, they are. Pretty certain they are. They're not pleather. You've got the magazine holders here, which are nicely painted. There's a brown with gold highlights and washes on them to give them that dirty effect. Both the holsters on either side are sculpted plastic with weathering on them. Nice to see sculpted plastic, as is the belt, completely sculpted plastic, but nice paint applications on there with that dull gold. The screen accuracy is there. The belt buckle is nicely done. Bring it round the back. The stitch work on this suit is pretty good until you get to, well, as I noticed just before this tape, when you lift this arm up here, a little bit iffy underneath this arm. If the camera's catching this, you can see the stitch work's a little bit rough there. It's nowhere near as bad as the Catwoman version 2.0 that we reviewed recently on the channel, which was a complete car crash. But if you look underneath here as well, it looks like and I think the camera's catching this under this light, there's some stretching already going on, and I've only lifted this arm up twice. I would be very, very worried about raising this arm any higher than here. And it's going to be a compromise with screen accuracy, but I mean, it's an action figure at the end of the day, and it's about it being in action. But that underneath that arm does not look healthy to me, and it looks like over time that could quite easily start to weather and split there. So yeah, exercise caution. But there's pretty good articulation in the shoulders there, but I won't be using an awful lot of it. There's ratcheted, well, it's not ratchet, it's just a normal elbow joint there. I would say once again, exercise caution with these elbows. I have heard that if you let it sit for too long or catch it, that the suit itself can actually catch inside the elbow joint here and cause it to disform as well. But yeah, the colours are really nice on this suit, and they pop, they're screen accurate, that vibrant red. There's weathering on here, on the arms, on the legs, all over the suit, but not overly weathered, which is nice to see. These shoulder straps, sculpted plastic, which is good. The shoulder pads are a soft plastic as well, and they feel like they're glued in place. You have these sort of, I wouldn't say wristbands, but these are free floating, so you can move these around to, I mean, there is no visible joint there, which is good, but these are free floating in case you want to cover up that slight seam. But yeah, screen accuracy is there, the colours are on point. I just lost my confidence in these suits, to be honest with you, but that went a long time ago. Yeah, stitch work, a little bit iffy on this side. I'm not sure why. They can't seem to get that stitch work right there, but it is what it is. Shoulder pads, nicely sort of weathered. There's some greys on there and the scuffs and dinks. Not too much though, as I mentioned. Let's take a look at this head sculpt now. I've swapped out the eyes on this one and gone for the surprised eyes. I think this head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. It's not a fixed neck head sculpt, this one, which is good to see. That seam in there is barely visible. I normally prefer fixed neck head sculpts to avoid this ugly seam line here, but because of the nature of Deadpool's costume, I think it works because it just looks like part of the creasing here, and they put the creasing in the neck as well. But overall, yeah, the head is in proportion. The creases are in the right place. It most certainly, and the weathering and the paint applications are absolutely spot on. So yeah, there you have it. What haven't we covered? The swap out eyes here are relatively easy to do, far easier than on Babypool. I find that just getting your finger into this sort of this corner here where the eye meets the bridge of the nose, and it pops out relatively easily. So swapping out the eyes is not a problem. The magnet on the that holds the swords on the back is not the most secure in the world. I'll just it's good, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel super strong. It'll hold them, and you know, you can move the thing around and it won't fall off. But it doesn't feel like the most secure magnet I've ever come across. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's the magnet on the back. And that, I think, is pretty much everything on this guy. I like the detailing. I'm on the fence about the material, but I think and how it will last. But I think the way it presents straight out of the box is absolutely stunning, and I think it's a fantastic figure. Let's pop him back onto the turntable here, and hopefully we'll stand up. I don't want to stress these. I'm trying to straighten the legs out here. It's all about not putting any stress for me alone. I am absolutely scared beyond belief that if I put any pressure on these ankle joints, that they're going to snap on me. And really, that isn't how we should be with our new figures. We should be having fun with them, especially action figures, because they're meant to be posed at the end of the day. I'm going to cough off camera, excuse me. So, there you have it. That is Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine, aka Wade Wilson. I hope this review has been useful for you. So, final thoughts. This is a tough one, this. My ankle joints weren't broken straight out of the box. That would have been an immediate sort of 5 for me. So far they're holding up, but literally, as I say, this has just come out of the box for the review. So I'm going to take that into account. I can't mark it on something that other people have experienced or are experiencing. I have yet to experience that. I haven't attempted to swap out the hands. I'll be doing that before the showcase. So if I have any problems with the wrist pegs, I will come back with a tag-on section to let you know. But as it stands for me, straight out of the box, I'm going to have to give this a 9. And that is based on the screen accuracy. It's based on the accessories. I think the accessories are fantastic. Baby pool, dog pool, head pool, wonderful. I think the sculpting, the paint applications, the screen accuracy. My misgivings about the suit, I can't mark it down for, simply because that time is yet to pass. So we don't know how it's gonna stand that test of time. But everything, the accessories, the screen accuracy, it's all on point. What I'm really marking it down for here is that stand. Why we should have a crotch grabber included, and the quality of that base is pretty poor, although it looks good from a distance, as I said. So I'm going to give this a 9. So there you have it. That is Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool from Deadpool Wolverine, and he's walking away with a 9. So yeah, I hope this review's been useful for you. So what have we got coming up on the channel? Well, there's a hell of a lot of it. To go with Mr. Deadpool himself will be Ladypool, and that will be with us shortly as well. We've got obviously the Caustic Plastic Horror of Dracula, exclusive double pack. That's, fingers crossed, will be landing soon. Toys Battalion, Legendary Merchant, Tom Hardy from Taboo. Premier Toys, Doof Warrior, the deluxe edition from Mad Max Fury Road. Susu Toys, Blade 3. Blitzway, Astro Boy version 2.0, still waiting on that one. Boatload of present toys stuff, can't even begin to list that, there's so much of it. We've got quarter scale stuff, we've got 10th scale mecha stuff, we've got a whole raft of things coming in. So yeah, be sure, if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. From myself and from Deadpool, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.